Kansas at the top of the sheet here at a 2:01.7, and that's in the opening practice. I think those speeds will creep up a little bit as we go as we get into a few more practice laps.
44.60 the fastest lap turn. 45 seconds flat is an even 200. And here's Dale Jr. in his first practice run. So now all 25 of the Budweiser Shootout cars have been on track.
Mike, I don't know if we mentioned, how these drivers qualified for the Budweiser Shootout. There were two criteria. If you finished in the top 25 in driver points from 2011, and if you were outside the top 25, but you had won a points event or a Budweiser Shootout at Daytona, you were eligible for this Budweiser Shootout.
Riding along here with Jimmy Johnson. Lapping 190 miles an hour. Obviously, he's going to get up in there and get with the pack when he can.
Jeff Burton just pulled in practice, pulling into a pit, and then heads back out. That's Dale Jr. just ahead of Jimmy.
Yeah, looks like they're going to try to maybe hook up here and do a two-car tandem.
This is looking back from the 88.
I noticed on Dale Jr.'s in car, he is just old school. He had those hands way around on the left-hand side of the steering wheel, just really tugging on the wheel. Unlike some of these guys, kind of 3 and 9. Watch Junior when he goes, he's going down the straightaway here. Watch him when he goes in the corner. He'll crank that hand over there. It's kind of old school right there. But you know what? It also tells me that car is very snug, pretty comfortable.
But Dale, you don't hear the RPM changing on Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car, but yet Jimmy Johnson, his teammate in that 48, called him. Why don't you talk a little bit about probably what Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to do to make that happen?
We may have drugged the brake a little bit, just to, slow the car down a tad, but do it with the brake, and so he won't lose any momentum.
Wants a tandem.
Wants a tandem. It's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever given anybody a shove to get them started. But, if you don't get it timed right and you don't get up against some guy in the front doesn't hold the brake a little bit, you'll just bam into him. You keep bouncing off of him. Here you want to make a nice smooth hookup and then continue on like you see these guys doing.
So Jimmy was 47.20 by himself, which shows what happens when you're not either in a pack or hooked up in tandem.
I think one thing I need to clarify, Mike, is you heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. say, does he want a tandem? Who Dale Earnhardt Jr. had to ask that to was his spotter. Who can communicate with Jimmy Johnson's spotter? But Dale Earnhardt Jr. this year cannot talk to his teammate or any other driver on the radio.
No direct communication. And while these two are the only two cars on the racetrack at this moment, we'll go to the garage. Matt?
And, Mike, how many times over the years did we hear Darrell Waltrip on the radio? You could hear in his voice just the calmness and the excitement of how good his race car was. That's similar to Ryan Newman so far in this practice session. Newman said the car got a little jukey one time off turn 2, but otherwise very pleased. Wants to make one minor adjustment